No, I didn't really know anything about rowing, period, much less rowing blazers. But fast forward to 2023 and I'm him. All right. All right. So, with that said,
From Hollywood to Soho, we be wearing polo. Narcos is a no-no, that's just how we go though. You got it for the low-low, it's probably US Polo, a Beverly Hills Polo. All of that is so-so, interlocks and chevrons, Cruise Navy and Lemon, Ralph Lauren wearing. I'm buying what you sellin', Maui pink and melon. Tell them about that rusty.
greetings and welcome to another edition of Seamless Style, powered by Politics and Polaroids. I'm your host, Mr. Parker. Episode 151, if I'm not mistaken. Episode 151. This episode is inspired by the Henley Royal Regatta. Now, the Henley Royal Regatta is, I would venture to say, the Super Bowl of rowing, the Super Bowl of crew. All right. It is end of this month. I'm not going to sit here and try to give you the dates because I don't actually remember to the exact date. But it's the end of this month, June 20 something, and it wraps up maybe the 1st of July or something like that. It's a week-long type of deal. But the Henley Royal Regatta, it's like the Super Bowl of rowing. And it's on my bucket list of things to attend. All right. So it inspired this episode. This episode features rowing blazers. Am I talking about the book of the same name? Absolutely not. I'm talking about the same pieces, the same items, rowing blazers. But giving shine to Jack Carlson is not something that I'm willing to do. I put him in the same box, the same category as Shep and Ian. I put him in the same category with some other people who will remain nameless. I'm not a fan of people who take advantage of my brand. And not Mr. Parker, I'm talking about Ralph Lauren. Now, some people, whoever it is, are culpable in that manipulation and that taking advantage of scenarios. Some people at corporate have to take culpability for that because they continue to shine the light on these douchebags who take advantage of the brand. All right. People will get a shine from the brand and then branch off and do something off of that, which in a lot of people's eyes, maybe even including yours, is the right thing to do or a smart thing to do. From a business standpoint, it probably is. However, just me being who I am, you're taking advantage of my brand. You're taking advantage of my brand and you're not giving anything back to my brand. All right. So, for lack of a better word, it's fuck you. I fuck you. I don't fuck with you. I ain't supporting you. All right. But that said, from a standpoint of rowing, Jack Carlson he's a made guy. He's a made guy. I want to say he participated in the Henley on Thames and maybe the Henley Royal Regatta. I'm not quite sure the specifics of his accolades, but when it comes to rowing, he's a made guy. Don't get me wrong. I give props where it's due. Just the person I ain't a fan of. It's a pretentious asshole, if you ask me. All right. So we still going to feature the rowing blazer because Jack Carlson didn't create the rowing blazer. He didn't invent it. All right. Now, what exactly is a rowing blazer? In its initial inception, it was a flannel fleece type of blazer that was worn to keep the crew warm in colder climates during race day and during practices. All right. Now, of course, they don't wear rowing blazers actually on the water when they're in competition, but on the banks, on the sidelines, going to practice, going from practice, race day, post-race celebrations, things like that, your rowing blazer is an iconic piece. All right. Typically, or traditionally, I'll say no vents. There's usually some type of piping. Colors that represent your team and or school, right? Very casual type of blazer, right? Historically, the blazers are handed down. Now, of course, because we're talking Oxford, Cambridge, Ivy, prestigious institutions, then more often than not, you're not going to see a lot of people of color. Historically, right? So rowing blazers are typically or traditionally handed down. All right. So if Melvin, which is my dad, he went to Duke. So let's say instead of being All-American at football, he was All-World on Duke's rowing team. And I followed in his footsteps, I would get his blazer, right? And then let's say Zeke, my youngest son, decided to follow my footsteps, he would get my blazer. And he has a son now that's a couple months old. And, the tradition is that you pass the blazer down to those who are following your footsteps, right? Now, a couple other things about the rowing blazer. Historically, you could not wash or have cleaned your rowing blazer until you won. All right. So obviously there were a lot of funky ass blazers. I'm talking about body odor, sweat, dirt, beer. Just saying, because everybody doesn't win everything, right? As far as the passing down, for example, right now depending on the cut, I'm between a 42 and a 44, right? My dad is probably a 46, maybe even a 48, because he's not going to want something that's slim, right? He's not into slim fitting. So you might end up when talking about a blazer passing down, or rowing blazer passing down from generation to generation, from grandson to son to son, you're probably gonna have some terrible fits as well, because you're not expected to take the blazer and get it fitted for your size. You just take the blazer and you wear it. That's it. So on campuses, traditionally and historically, you probably saw Biff or Cody. You probably saw these guys maybe in rowing blazers that didn't exactly fit them to a T, but it's tradition. Pass down that blazer, pop. The main thing is that when we fast forward to today, or let's just say we fast forward to 1967, when Ralph Lauren started what would become, without a doubt the greatest fashion and style house period ever, because of his goals, dreams, and aspirations growing up as a kid. A lot of things that he decided to manufacture into fashionable pieces were pieces from that world. Okay, so the rowing blazer is something that's been around in the world of Ralph Lauren for a very long time. And I must say, although my rowing blazer, and I'm talking about specifically rowing blazers, my rowing blazer collection is not anywhere near where I would want it to be as far as Ralph Lauren. It's not bad. It's not bad. A lot of times with me, it's about the piece speaking to me when it comes to the collegiate. You know, I know everybody's consensus is Mr. Parker is top shelf when it comes to collegiate and varsity. And overall, as on a whole, my collegiate and varsity collection is pretty fucking massive. Pause. But when it comes to specifically the rowing blazer, I got a long way to go before I'm anywhere near satisfied. Because the same way I have 18, 20 varsity collegiate inspired jackets hanging up there, I want that same number for my rowing blazers collection. All right, so there's a ways to go. There's definitely ways to go. But I digest. We'll get there when we get there. This thing is fluid. It's progressive. All right. But 3 rigs for you. I am throwing a monkey wrench in the game. All right. So stay tuned for the last rig because I'm going to throw a little monkey wrench in the game. All right. But 3 rigs for you plus the ensemble I'm wearing. Now, what I do want to do throughout this entire episode is give you background on certain ensembles. All right. This particular ensemble for me would be for an event based on rowing. If you know, I'm overseas, it's Henley on Thames week or it's Henley Royal Regatta week. This would be for an event that could be outdoor, more so maybe indoor. So that might be a nighttime event, club, bar hop, whatever. Outdoor standpoint, if it's any mud, I'm not going. Not with this ensemble. All right. But this ensemble is definitely for the Henley week, the Henley Royal Regatta week. All right. Monk straps in the lily white gum sole. All right. So casual dress shoe. All right. Casual dress shoe. I did black argyles with green diamonds and wine stitching. All right. Wine stitching. A pair of cream linen pants cut to a slim fit. A rugby Ralph Lauren black cricket sweater. All right. Cream chevron. Nice crest here. Griffin goes along with the Griffin on the first 8. Is this first 8? I think it's first 8. It might be second 8. Second 8, cross doors, linen, rowing blazer. All right. 3-on-2 configuration. That's another part of rowing blazers. 3 buttons. All right. Rugby Ralph Lauren lapel pin that I just copped off of eBay for like $5, and it's a great piece. It fits perfectly with the aesthetic of this look. It fits perfect with the entire episode. So as small as it is, as almost subtle as it is, this to me is one of the most important pieces of this entire ensemble. All right. Pair of black Polo Blue Label eyeglasses to nerdy up the look a little bit. And then a nice tam here, linen, cream, gray piping, also rugby Ralph Lauren. Okay, so Rugby Ralph Lauren is well represented. And as you probably already know or can, or recall or remember, Rugby Ralph Lauren, when it comes to collegiate varsity, when it comes to the rowing blazer aesthetic, it was a big deal. Rugby Ralph Lauren focused on that type of aesthetic. The ivy, the trad, the varsity collegiate. That was Rugby Ralph Lauren's mainstay. All right. So of course, I'm gonna have pieces that fall right in line with that. All right. Fragrance of the ensemble, I went with Ultra Blue. I went with Ultra Blue because it fits all four ensembles. It gives you a country club vibe, right? It gives you that almost a pretentious, holier than thou type of attitude that some people in that world, that grew up in that world, actually have. So I just felt like Polo Ultra Blue just went perfectly with the whole vibe, right? Bag of the ensemble. Bag of the ensemble is a Messenger. I went with my black one here. Nice bag, Polo Blue label. Place you can put your laptop, comes right out, button. It's clasped in as well, but your laptop goes in here, slides in. Then you got pockets and spaces, buttons to close your handle, strap to put crossbody if you want to, zipper on the back, buckled pockets on the front. Man, just a clean look. It's got a little bit of leather trimming on it here, but it's mainly nylon. But this is a great all-purpose messenger bag, and it fits perfect with this particular ensemble. All right. So without any further ado, y'all ready? Me too, man. Me too. Now let's go. Now for our first look, this particular rowing blazer is as close to the traditional and historic rowing blazer as you're gonna get. All right. And what's crazy is, out of the rowing blazers that I own, this is the newest one. I think this one came out maybe 4 years ago, maybe something like that. But this particular piece is as close to a traditional rowing blazer as you're going to get. And man, it's one of my favorite blazers. It really is. It really the freak is, because there's so many ways that you can rock this blazer. So many ways. Fleece pants, sweats, a polo or Oxford, tail hanging out, your favorite pair of penny loafers or boat shoes, man, and you got a whole casual vibe. But because this entire episode was inspired by the Royal Regatta, then we're going to keep it with a more historic and traditional look when it comes to sculling, rowing crew. All right. I love this look. This look for me could be for two specific reasons. This look could be for race day if the grass and ground are dry and non-muddy. All right. And you'll see why when we start at the bottom. If it is a muddy or overcast with maybe some rain later, or if it rained earlier that morning, or whatever the case may be, to where the ground is not sufficient for this footwear, then I'd switch it out for a more rugged pair of worn in yet still with that panache pair of loafers. All right, penny loafers, boats, tassels, but something that's worn in that I ain't too, like, If a little dirt gets on them, if a little moisture gets on them, I'm not bugging out, right? But let's start at the bottom so you'll see what I'm talking about. So don't traditionally see sneakers in historically in these looks, but I said, hey, I'm him. I'm going to do sneakers. So I went with the Kill Shots. All right. Nike Kill Shots, white, cream, gray, mainly white. And then, of course, that wine. All right. That wine is popping. All right. I did a pair of socks that complement the entire ensemble with the wine and navy as your ideal hues in the hosiery. All right. Scroll up. A nice pair of slim fitting chinos. All right. Chinos is a staple when it comes historically to rowing blazer looks. All right. What's funny is you may or may not see any khaki colored chinos in this entire episode, but chinos is the go-to bottoms with these looks. All right. I did a nice belt here that has navy, wine, and a little bit of gold. All right. Again, man, we represent, I would say probably we closer to representing Harvard than any other institution that has rowing with this look. All right. So the Winklevi, as Zuckerberg once historically called them, the Winklevi would love this ensemble. All right, because they rep Harvard and they rep it well. All right. The piping on this rowing blazer, navy and white. So we got dual piping. So we got a thick layer and a thick layer of piping that's obvious to the eyes. It's just beautiful. Polo RL 1931 to 1936, but with every year listed, because that's the year that this particular gentleman won whatever rowing events he is into. All right. OCBD Columbia blue with subtle white stripes, a ascot, a nice thick ascot, custom made by Dolphus Designs. All right. White and wine. So again, man, just pairing things lovely to the point that it's a little undeniable. This guy is a complete chap and he deserves to be at the Henley. This look features my first rowing blazer. All right. And when I say my first, I bought this probably 11 years ago. So when I first really started on my RL journey, this was a piece I purchased where I just had your typical small closet and a few pieces hanging up on a T-stand that I was able to get from work. Like I ain't have much at all. I definitely would not have needed a room to curate and decorate in. All right. So obviously, when you take that into account, you could probably say, all right, Parker probably wasn't too in depth on exactly how to style it. And you would be right. You would be right. I strictly went off of I like the patch. I like the fact that it was rugby and I could actually fit it. It was my size at the time. I got small. It got too big for me, but I had it tailored because I wasn't about to give this up. But with that said, at that time, no, I didn't really know anything about rowing, period, much less rowing blazers. But fast forward to 2023 and I'm him. All right. So with that said, this guy is the quintessential chap. He's the quintessential crew head. All right. Without any further, well, no, before we go to the bottom, this is definitely a race day ensemble. Matter of fact, this might be after the Rugby Ralph Lauren first 8 crew team beats Yale, Duke, Harvard, and Brown. And second place is like an entire 2.7 seconds behind us. behind the Rugby Ralph Lauren crew team. All right, first 8. All right, that's what I'm talking about. But I digest. This is probably post-match celebrations, post-match shenanigans. Giant bonfire, koozies everywhere, beers, flasks filled with whatever type of liquor. Just all the good shit that goes along with that aesthetic and with that lifestyle. All right. Yeah, this is probably post-match celebrations, man. Break out the white chinos. But let's start at the bottom. Pull out the Crest loafers. All right. They are worn in, but still have a lot of character to them. Right. Still have a lot of character to them. I saw a pair of Crest loafers on eBay in a 12. And I almost pulled the trigger, but I was like, you know what? One, for what? Why would I do that? I'm truly a size 13. There are some shoes that I can wear a 12, right? There are some slippers and there are some, what do you call them shits? Espadrilles that I can actually wear in a 12. But one, my Crest loafer still got so much character left in them, man. Like, I don't even polish them that much because I just like the fact of how they look with a few wrinkles, how they look a little. Now, I don't like dirt on my shoes, period, but how they look with a few wrinkles, how they look not really shiny. They just kind of there. They just kind of there saying, hey, man, we still Crest loafers regardless of our condition. That's kind of what the Crest loafers do for me. All right. Hosiery, yellow socks, blue rib tips with a blue rugby R. I mean, what more can I say, man? Push the socks down a little bit so when you're sitting down, that R is visible. Just to rub it in people's faces, because you that guy. White pair of slim fit chinos, beautiful, crispy, pure white. All right, pure deck wash white. All right, the belt, brown leather with the navy and gold combination. All right, the shirt, club collar, spread collar, navy, gold, white, vertical stripes, Rugby Ralph Lauren. The tie, navy, gold, heraldic, rep stripe tie. Man, listen, whew, this ensemble ain't playing with me. It really ain't. And then the Peace Day. What's the Peace Day, Parker? You ain't been watching. The Peace Day is short for the Peace They Resist On, which is this Rugby Ralph Lauren rolling blazer. All right, no vent, beautiful white piping, rather wide white piping. All right, beautiful crest on your pocket. Your pocket is also piped in white, gold and somewhat royal blue crest with a griffin, a crown, a castle, and a wonderful owl. All right, established 2004. All right, established 2004. That's when rugby was started, man. This piece is just, I put this little lapel pin on there, which you don't have to have a lapel type pin. As you saw in the previous ensemble, you could definitely do the more traditional accessory when it comes to rowing. But with this one, I just did this little lapel pin because this was something I picked up on eBay years ago, and I hadn't worn it in a while. It's like it's like some secret society type of button, something to that effect. Something you would get, like if you ever seen the movie The Skulls, it's something you would get for like something like that, and it has Oxford University on it. So it's just a real cool little pin. You put your aviator shades in your pocket with the with one of the arms hanging out, just to let them know, I'm that cool. Because you might take them, you can take them out, you can put them back in, whatever you need to do, man. Whatever you need to do. The sun's going down, you're gonna take them off, obviously. But man, this look screams Rugby Ralph Lauren. This look screams anything on the Thames. Anything on the Thames, this works. All right. Anything Henley, this works. It's a pure rowing vibe. All right, this last look, I told you, I had a curveball. All right, I had a monkey wrench to throw in the game. So this last look, I had it a couple years. On RalphLauren.com, it was listed as a cricket sweater. A cricket blazer. All right, and it is, but we're featuring it today because whether or not you knew this, rowing, they started the blazer pandemic. They started the blazer tradition. They started it. All right. Your cricket, your tennis, your rugby, your any other elitist sport, they picked it up well after rowing. All right. Rowing was the creator of the rowing blazer. All right. So with that said, cricket has to pay an homage to rowing. And because this is just so dope as far as the color palette, why not? I'd wear this to Henley all day and twice on Sunday. All right. So yes, cricket blazer per se, but definitely could pull this off at a rowing event. You know, nobody's gonna they're gonna turn a nose up at you anyway, because you ain't really from Columbia or Yale. You ain't really, you know what I mean? But, you know, sometimes people just got to get punched in their mouth to realize maybe I'm moving wrong. Just a thought. It's a thought. But forget all that, because I love this look, man. This look is dope. This is definitely, again, race day. Footwear wise, I'm not stepping in anything wet. Take that how you want to take it. I'm not stepping in anything wet. So if it's not dry outside, if it's not dry in wherever the events are, it needs to be dry because of the footwear that I'm wearing. All right. It's not a game down here at these feet. All right. Let's go ahead and start at the bottom. Broke out the rugby velvet slippers, collegiate style. You see the trimming of on the shoe, on the tongue, and around the sides of the shoe matches the blazer. All right, Bouillon rowing crest. Whew. No socks needed. No socks needed. Now, it's something a little different as far as bottoms, but it's gonna work. It's eye-catching. It's conversation piece. And if the stuck-up Brents of the world want to look their nose up at you, that's fine, because guess what Brittany gonna do? You already know what she gonna do. White, slim fit denim, all right? Distressed and repaired, all right? The repair is either an off-white or a chambray that meshes well with that Columbia blue that we have from the waist up. All right, yearbook style. So you got stenciling all over it. And all of it is related to collegiate sporting, rowing, etc. Like, this is just dope for this entire look. All right, scroll up. Club collared OC. Not BD. It's an Oxford cloth. It's an Oxford shirt, right? But it's not an OCBD because the collar is a spread collar. It's a club collar and it doesn't button down. All right. It's got a dual chevron on the front of the shirt, along with a beautiful patch over the pocket on the left breast. That's right, there is a pocket. All right, a fold down, button down pocket with a first date, cross doors, and a Pegasus. This fits, man. It just fits. So if you take the jacket off for whatever reason, you still representing. All right. Bow tie, floral bow tie with all of these same colors. Why? Because traditionally, sometimes the winners get flowers. All right. So the flowers just go with the overall aesthetic. All right. And then the cricket blazer that we're wearing to a rowing event because we're pretentious and we can. All right. Yale blue, or Duke blue rather, base, white piping over the pocket around the entire blazer, Columbia blue stripes with some gray strategically placed everywhere as far as striping on the actual blazer, matching cap with a crest on it. Now, why not put the crest on the pocket of the blazer as well? I'm sure. I do not know. All right. But I didn't make that decision, that's for sure. Because if I was to create this look, if I'm working in the inner workings of corporate and design, there's absolutely going to be that similar crest on this blazer pocket. I don't understand it, but hey, whatever. Lord Society pin here, so another homage to the high snobriety, secret society type of dealings that go on at major universities. All right, this is just a really dope look for the overall thoughts of rowing. All right, rowing crew. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. This is a great look. Even your coxswain is going to be impressed when they see you in this particular ensemble. And that's another episode in the books. We did rowing blazers today. What y'all think? You a fan of rowing blazers? If you're not, you need to become one, because I'm trying to tell you, the rowing blazer is an eye catcher. It's a conversation starter. And just the overall look and aesthetic of a rowing blazer is going to bring back memories for a lot of people that, that when you put one on and you go out, they're going to see you and say, hey man, that's what's up. Like, yeah, I used to row at Virginia, or I used to row at Yale, or yeah, I was in a second 8 for my first couple of years at Dartmouth, and then I moved up to a first 8. I also did they're gonna start talking, and when it comes to talking, a lot of times talking can lead to networks and relationships. All right, that's one thing that's underrated when it comes to your fashion and your style. Yes, your demeanor, your personality, all of that is a must. All of that is something that you have to have. Not to mention knowledge and something to offer somebody, right? But that first impression is actually what you're wearing, what you look like, right? Simple piece, the navy match play sports coat. The navy match play sports coat that when you flip the collar, it's Kelly green under there. I wore that with a shirt, a match play style tie. It had a great motif all the way down the tie. A pair of job pores and match play collar velvet slippers. One of them times I was in New York, and they were doing, it was Fashion Week. It was the September one. And they had the jewelry box built around the outside of the front of the women's mansion. So, of course, obviously, I didn't have no tickets. I didn't have no hookup to get in. I was just an employee who wanted to be in the area because I feed off of stuff like that, right? And when I tell you, first of all, I'm talking about at least 2 of these 3 people, because it was 3 people total, 3 separate people. And I'm talking about separate as in 30 minutes to an hour apart. But 2 of these 3 people, I could just tell, I could smell I could smell the lineage and the 7, 8, 9 figures off of these people when they came up to me, right? But just thought that my ensemble was amazing, and I was just the bee's knees, and two of them wanted to take a picture with me. Had one was a guy, one was a lady. The lady had her husband take the picture, and the guy, I think he did a selfie or something. But man, it was a trip, because at the time I wasn't as motivated, I'll say. I didn't have the goals, the ambitions. I hadn't brainstormed what I have brainstormed now. But just from a standpoint of those brief conversations, I could have furthered the conversation and maybe could have got some things done. It just wasn't in my head at the time, right? But I digest. An opportunity like that will present itself again, and when it does, I'll be ready, right? But the point is that when you step outside, man, you never know what could happen. So you want to be able to give off your best first impression, all right? Even just me running, and it's literally across the street, but even me just running across the street to the grocery store to pick up a few things, I'm gonna at least do something with the beard. If I'm needing a haircut, I throw a cap, but like I might just throw a polo on some, in this case, a polo on some shorts and some boat shoes, because just that much attention to detail could be the difference between casual conversation leading to something, or somebody feeling like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we can run out the house to, like, we ain't even getting out the car. I'm gonna go to Bojangles and grab a biscuit and come right back. You might go through the drive-thru, like something like that. I get it. Yeah, just throw on your hooping shorts and a funky t-shirt and just do what you got to do. But you know, those times where you might have to get out of the car for 5 minutes, you never know what might happen in those 5 minutes. Now, a couple things. One, and I'm gonna address this for every episode that comes out this month, because this is a safe space for us, and it's a safe space for me, and you can't counsel somebody that don't give a fuck. So I'm gonna say this at least every episode for this month. It's disrespectful, and it's a crying shame that there are 12 months in the year. There are 12 months in the year, and the month that has a day that's specifically for heterosexual men is also Pride Month. I don't like it. It's a slap in the face. It's disrespectful. All right. The entire month of March was Women's Month. We get a day in June. We get a day. One day in June. Father's Day. And the toxic, misandrous women like to acknowledge Father's Day by saying Happy Father's Day to all the mothers that's taking care of, that's being a mother and a father in real life. But I digest on that part. What I'm speaking on is, you could have did May. You could have did July. You could have did April. You had 11 other months to choose to have Pride Month, and you chose the month where the only day for heterosexual men is Father's Day in that same month. It's a slap in the motherfucking face. It is. But I digest. Like I said, can't do nothing about it, but I'm going to speak on it. I'm going to speak on it as much as I want to this month, which will probably be each and every fucking episode. So if you got a problem with that, I'll see you in July. Shannon Sharp, congratulations, brother. Moving upward and onward. Shannon Sharp is leaving Fox Sports 1 and leaving the show Undisputed. Now, if Skip and Shannon is something that you watch regularly, like I do, They've been on for 7 years now. I've been watching it for 7 years. Like, I've been watching it. And just my thoughts, I don't know either one of them as far as could call them, email them, nothing. I don't know them. But a few months ago, Skip was highly disrespectful to Shannon on TV. When Damar Hamlin damn near died on the field in football for Buffalo, Skip sent out a tweet that was tone deaf and just like he was getting ragdolled on social media. And the next day, I think Shannon called out. And the day after that, he spoke on it, and they got going at it again. And long story short, and Marcellus Wiley said it the best, and he used to work for Fox Sports 1. Skip was here. Shannon was here when they first started. Shannon passed Skip. He passed him. He passed him in popularity. As they say, numbers don't lie. They both started a podcast around the same time. Shannon's podcast, Club Shay Shay, which that name is suspect as hell, but whatever. His podcast, Club Shay Shay, numbers are through the roof. It's one of the most popular podcasts out. In a short amount of time, Shannon interviews people. Like, every episode, he's interviewed somebody. Skip, being Skip, his podcast is a one-person podcast. It's him on a mic talking about whatever he wants to talk about, which is typically sports. All right, giving his thoughts. His numbers are trash. They trash. All right, but Shannon Sharp bought out his contract, and he's able to take Club Shay Shay with him when he leaves after the NBA Finals. Now, the significance of that is that Club Shay Shay, his podcast is filmed, because I'm not going to keep saying that name. His podcast is filmed on Fox's lot. All right. So as far as from an IP standpoint, that was Fox Sports 1. They gave him that too. Now, the amount of money it would take for him to buy out that contract, I don't think he got that kind of money. I think maybe it's going to take some ESPN money to buy out that contract. I'm just saying. So, if the brother ends up on ESPN, that's going to hurt. But I'm happy for him, because I liked the fact that I was able to be around for the 7 years and watch his ascension as this condescending bootleg asshole Skip Bayless popularity descended. It was just great. It was just great TV to watch. You know, we all love to watch a car wreck, but this was just great TV to watch. So I'm happy for Mr. Shannon Sharp. All right. Last but not least, before we go, I want to speak, and I'm going to speak briefly. I want to say rest in peace to Jackie O. That is the mother of comedian DC Young Fly, the girlfriend and fiance of comedian DC Young Fly. She is the mother of their children, right? She died. She died from complications from a mommy makeover. If you don't know what a mommy makeover is, it's tummy tuck, lipo, and breast or ass augmentation, and or at like women are getting, but and a lot of times they getting it all done at once. Take it off of her for a minute, because I don't want to talk about somebody who didn't deserve the results that they got. Right, ladies, the few that are watching, none of us give a fuck about that shit. In actuality, the majority of us are completely turned off by that shit. We are. First of all, ain't none of us perfect. If we're extra large, we'd rather be a large. If we're large, we prefer to be a medium. Now, you might have some guys that are extra smalls and smalls that want to be mediums or larges, but they don't want to be obese. They don't want to be fat. They want to put on weight and change it into muscle. The point is that we'll work out with you. But doing all these surgeries, getting your body cut on by a motherfucker who went to a clinic for a weekend, a motherfucker who was a gynecologist who went to a clinic for a weekend and now he doing surgeries. Come on, man. Y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop it, man. Cause one thing I know about women is a lot of times the shit y'all do ain't for us anyway. It's for other women. You'll say it's for you. It's for other women. It's for other women or it's for attention. But what we men are telling you is that we don't give a fuck about that shit. So if you want to say that you're doing it for the attention of a man, or you're trying to land a man, or you're trying to be able to compete to land a man, stop it. There's too many of y'all that's dropping like flies from this foolishness. All right, stop it. Now that said, if you're gonna do something, do one thing at a time. Do extensive research. And if you're gonna penny pinch, don't do it at all. All right. If you're gonna get your titties done, spend 10 or more. Don't come in here talking about, oh, I got my titties done for $2,500. You gonna die. Sorry. I don't know no other way to say it. You gonna die. You gotta spend, you gotta pay to play. You can't do these things and be cheap. But my whole thing is just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons and make sure you're smart about it. Because dying from having cosmetic surgery, I don't know any other way to put it. It's tragic, it's sad, but it's also pathetic, bro. It's pathetic. And again, you can't counsel somebody that don't give a fuck about being counseled. So I'm just speaking the real. I'm just saying what other people ain't gonna say. It's pathetic. That is pathetic. Because the amount of money you spent on getting this work done, you could have bought a lot of equipment and just been a little more disciplined with what you eat and get some semblance of something fulfilling for you. Somebody I used to work with, she got some work done, lipo, but she ain't changed her eating habits. I saw a picture of her about 2 weeks ago. She looked the same, the exact same. So whatever she spent, 6, 7, 8, it was a complete waste. And she still ain't got no man. Like, what y'all doing, man? That shit corny. Just stop. Just don't do it. Forget everything else I said. Just don't do it. That's the whole thing. Cause we don't give a fuck about that shit, really. Anywho, I'm rambling. But I had a lot of shit I wanted to get off my chest today. All right. Back to what's most important. Our style and our fashion. All right. Because we are what's popping around here. All right. Not these BBLs that look like your back swallowed a basketball and you look like a giant ant. We what's popping, gentlemen and ladies. All right. Get in the comment section, man. Tell me whatever you want to tell me. It don't matter. Because, again, if you ain't up on a rowing blazer or rowing blazers, there's something wrong with your mental health and you need to get some counseling. Because rowing blazers are it. I'm joking a little bit. Artists paint pictures. Haters paint narratives. But that's supposed to come after this part. So let's rewind. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and tell a friend. Because we here. We here. The first 8 and the second 8. Artists paint pictures, haters paint narratives. So don't be no hater. Y'all have a good one.